According to legend, the last Super Saiyan could only maintain his status in the transformed state. His power was extraordinary. He had no equal in the universe, but he was too primitive to control it. His rage burned so intensely that it eventually consumed him, and in the end, he was destroyed by his own power. But if there were a way to achieve such power, I should know it. I am the Prince of all Saiyans. If there is to be a new Super Saiyan, it should be me. At long last, I've ascended.
Goku's transformation into a Super Saiyan is one of the most iconic moments in all of anime. If not the most iconic, it's a moment that changed the entire world and put Dragon Ball Z on the map. And since that moment, the Super Saiyan has continued to evolve. If you want to find out how, click the annotation above. But suffice to say, throughout the entire Dragon Ball series, the Super Saiyan has changed, and new, more powerful iterations began to emerge. But what if I told you that the transformation Goku first experienced on Namek was not the actual Super Saiyan transformation of legend, and we never saw a real Super Saiyan until Dragon Ball GT. Don't believe me? Well, allow me to show you some evidence. In the DBZ series, the show focuses on three main races: the humans, the Namekians, and of course, the Saiyans. The Saiyans are an extremely dangerous race, as they are uniquely built for battle. They are powerful and brutal. Their power and brutality became so legendary that even the mere mention of their name sent terror down the spines of other races. Their strength was so frightening that even the Emperor of the Universe, Frieza, while he would never admit it, took note and began to worry.
Yes, sire. The Kanas have been eradicated. The planet's yours.
Kanasa? That job's been in the pool for months. I thought we'd have to handle that one ourselves.
No, a band of Saiyans took it.
Saiyans? Wow, their elite teams are becoming comparable to our own.
Actually, it was a band of their low-level soldiers.
Bah, no low levels could take Kanasa. No, these are standouts. The Saiyans are quickly becoming our best fighters, am I right?
Yes, Dodoria. Without a doubt. They're much stronger now. It's amazing. In a small group on a full moon, they're hard to beat.
So he destroyed them. Or at least, he tried. But it would take more than just a planet-killing ball to destroy the Saiyan race. Oh, but don't worry. The Saiyans got their revenge.
Now say you're sorry! Are you sorry yet?
I think I peed a little.
But that brings us back to the main topic, this transformation. Now many people have discussed how Saiyans are actually able to transform into a Super Saiyan, and what a Super Saiyan actually is, scientifically speaking, of course.
Of course!
And the general consensus is that this golden form is some sort of mutation. But what if I told you that mutation wasn't what you thought it was, and that this transformation wasn't anything but a technique? A technique that only Saiyans can use. Obviously, I hear you say. It's called a Super Saiyan, because only Saiyans can become them. But let me explain. The Saiyans are known as the strongest warrior race. Their innate control of Ki is a testament to that. Take the Kamehameha, for example. A technique that took Master Roshi, a man once considered to be the strongest person on Earth, 50 years to develop and master. But an inexperienced Kid Goku was able to use this move on his first attempt. And even though it took Goku a while to get it right, Saiyans have an innate ability to fly, while other races, like humans, need to learn this skill.
The key is energy control?
Come on, what's that even mean?
For real? Honestly, I've never had to explain it to anyone before.
It's this stuff, look! Huh?
Pretty much, yeah. That's the stuff.
Okay.
And despite their violent reputation, the Saiyans are actually pretty smart, developing a technique that allowed them to transform into a great ape even during the day or without a moon. Saiyans are pretty durable too. As a child, Goku was hit on the head with an axe, shot in the face and back of the head at point blank range, and got right back up, more annoyed than anything else. And as adults, he and Vegeta were shown to be able to train in at least 400 times normal gravity, something that would seem impossible for humans.
I've won many great battles here, and by now, you've noticed that my planet is very different from yours. It's the gravity. 10 times stronger than Earth. Your hopes of winning are falling faster than that stone. You won't leave here alive.
Maybe if this was 500 times gravity, you might have an advantage. But 10, I don't even feel it.
For comparison, let's look at Yamcha when he tried this. Yes, I know the running joke. Yamcha is by far the weakest character. But remember, Yamcha has been there from the beginning. The Z Fighters wouldn't let him tag along if they didn't think he could handle himself. They would have told him to be like Chaozu and stay home. And remember, Yamcha might be the weakest Z Fighter, but he's still one of the strongest humans alive. If not top 3, then top 5 for sure. So his reaction to this type of gravity is a good indicator for the rest of the species. Goku and Vegeta struggle, but their Saiyan bodies make it possible to train in this type of gravity. But Yamcha, he nearly dies seconds after turning on the machine, and just barely manages to turn it off. But the quality that makes Saiyans especially dangerous is the ability known as Zenkai Boost. This trait is unique to Saiyans. It allows them to become stronger after an extremely intense battle, or after being on the brink of death and returning.
The first and last mistake you made was to underestimate the power of a Saiyan warrior. While so many others grow weaker during battle, we Saiyans become stronger. You can bleed us to the brink of death, crush every bone in our bodies, it only makes us more powerful.
He's just like Goku. No matter how much of a brutal beating Vegeta takes, he gets stronger every time that he fights.
But what if it's this skill that mutated in order to become this golden form? But before I get to that, I want to talk about the Namekians for a bit. Now the Namekians have their own unique skills, such as the ability to regenerate limbs, create clothes out of nothing, and create dragons that break the game. You know, when I say this out loud, the show starts to sound a little silly. Anyway, there is one technique that Namekians have that is a unique variant to another technique in the show, and that technique is fusion. Dragon Ball gives you 3 variations on fusion. You have the fusion dance, the Potara fusion, and the Namekian fusion. The Namekian fusion is special because it can only be performed by 2 Namekians, where one Namekian basically absorbs another one, making himself stronger. And this fusion is permanent. Unlike the other 2, why am I bringing up Namekian fusion in a video about Super Saiyans? Well, like I said, there are multiple forms of fusion techniques, but the Namekians were able to develop their own unique version, despite not being a warrior race like the Saiyans. My point is, if the Namekians were able to develop their own unique version of an already existing technique, for their race in particular, then I don't think it's out of the question to believe that the Saiyans were able to accomplish the same thing. But is there an existing technique that is similar enough to this golden form to support my theory? Yes, I believe that the form we know as the Super Saiyan isn't a Super Saiyan at all, but the Saiyan's own natural version of the Kaioken. We've already established that the Saiyans are very capable warriors. They grow and adapt and become stronger. Take Vegeta. Before he went to Earth, he couldn't sense power levels, but afterwards, he could. Compare this to Frieza, the strongest being in the universe at the time. He couldn't sense power levels either, and in every iteration of Frieza afterwards, where he could sense power levels, it took him a long time to learn that skill. For Vegeta, it was get in, get out. Vegeta obtained the skill because he was in a situation that required it. He grew, he adapted, and that's what this golden form is, an adaptation, a mutation. In a previous video, I mentioned that it basically made no sense that Trunks and Goten could become Super Saiyans at such a young age. Goku, Vegeta, even Gohan and future Trunks all had to go through a lot to transform. However, it does make sense if this golden form was a gene that was passed down to them, just like the gene that allows them to control ki. Just like animals, with each new generation is at least slightly better adapted than the last, Saiyans work the same way. They develop a gene they need, and with every subsequent generation, the gene gets passed down, making it stronger. But enough, I hear you say. Even if this technique is genetic based and not strength based, that doesn't prove this form isn't a Super Saiyan. If anything, it proves the opposite. But let me ask you this, excluding all outside and movie material, and even excluding the Z fighters, what is the only other Super Saiyan we see? Can't think of one? It's this one, the Super Saiyan of legend, the one Vegeta describes towards the beginning of the series. Granted, we don't get a good look at him, but what we do see is very clear. Riki Saiyan we see, that's an Ozaru, a golden Ozaru. This is important for a few reasons. First, unlike the quote-unquote Super Saiyan form, the Great Ape form doesn't need to be taught. Saiyans have access to this power from birth. I think this means that the Ozaru is a more natural extension of the Saiyan form than this form is. What I mean by this is that it's easier for a Saiyan to become a Great Ape than it is for them to become a golden hair Adonis.
Daddy monkey! Huh? Well, oh my god, you could grind meat on it.
Which I think lends credence to my theory for one particular reason. The Ozaru in the flashback is gold. Now I know, when we first saw this form, we all said, that's a Super Saiyan. Goku's eyes changed, his hair changed, his energy changed.
You've changed, man.
Even Vegeta says so. But let's be honest here. And I say this with Vegeta being my favorite character in the series. But how many times has Vegeta actually been right about something?
Do you really think Goku can give you the challenge you deserve?
You know, the funny thing is, I know you're playing me, but you're right. She's all yours.
Oh, thank you, Vegeta. Trust me, great things are about to happen.
Plus, Vegeta has never actually seen a Super Saiyan, so how could he possibly know what one looks like? He just assumes, like the rest of us, because he sees Goku rocking that new hair color. But you know what? This isn't the first time Vegeta saw Goku's hair color sporadically change color. He saw it back on Earth too, when Goku went Kaioken. Both of these techniques result in Goku's aura and hair color changing. The Kaioken is red because it's a technique designed to power up the user. Their speed, strength, power, all drastically increase, but at a cost. The power produced by this technique requires a lot of energy, more energy than the body can produce over a short time, which is why the user can't keep up this technique for an extended period of time. To even maintain that form for the time he does, Goku's body has to work overtime to produce enough energy. It's like a fireball, becoming stronger and redder the more fuel he consumes. But that fireball consumes fuel too quickly and burns out. But what about this form? What gives it that shiny supersonic color? Well, put simply, it comes from this new Great Ape form. When we first saw this new form, we all assumed it was Super Saiyan energy going into the Ozaru form to create this new form. But what if the opposite was true? What if Goku's hair and energy turns yellow because this Kaioken-esque technique is tapping into his actual Super Saiyan form? It's kind of like Bleach, where Ichigo uses his mask to tap into his full hollow form. That's not Ichigo's actual hollow form, it's just a mask that lets him tap into the hollow form. So by that same logic, that's not Goku's Super Saiyan form, it's just a technique that lets him tap into his Super Saiyan power. Now this all sounds like I'm saying this Golden Great Ape form is a legendary Super Saiyan. I'm not. But the Golden Ape form is a stepping stone to the true transformation, to be able to become a true Super Saiyan, or a Super Saiyan 4 if you prefer. To transform into this true Super Saiyan form, you need 3 things, well 4. 1. Saiyans need to have tails. Saiyans without tails can't transform into great apes. 2. You need a full moon, or some sort of stand-in. 3. You need the mask, by which I mean, you need to be able to tap into the true Super Saiyan form, as this act is like a gateway. Actually, I like to think that it's the tail acting like a key, and the yellow energy is a door. But before you unlock that door, you need the 4th and final element, control. What do I mean by control? Well, Vegeta's legend of the Super Saiyan says that the last Super Saiyan, no one could match him, but he was so violent and so angry that he couldn't control his own power and ended up destroying himself. Now remember what Goku said, each time he goes up a Saiyan level, he loses a little more control and is more prone to violence. This is because Goku and everyone else is tapping into this golden ape form without having complete control of it. That's why when Goku first transforms into a Super Saiyan 3, you see a small glimpse of the Great Ape. This is when Goku loses the most control, because this is the most power he can tap into without his tail. That's also why Goku acts so reckless in the fight. In this form, Goku chucks Majin Buu full force into a skyscraper, destroying it and killing who knows how many people in the process. That's not a very Goku-like thing to do. There haven't been too many times where Goku acts like this, in a way that directly puts other people in danger, even killing them. In fact, the only other times he acted like this was when he was in his Great Ape form, during Dragon Ball GT, and during the World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku transformed and nearly killed everyone until Master Roshi stopped him by blowing up the moon. And even sweet, gentle Gohan transformed and started wreaking havoc until Piccolo blew up the moon. Wait, how did...
Goku wasn't the target of my Kamehameha wave. That was.
There's nothing there! The sky! It's been de-mooned!
There it's...
What the hell? Anyway, in GT, Goku transformed into a Golden Uzaru, just like in the legend. He was a golden ape with unrivaled power, and just like in the legend, he was on his way to self-destruction, with rage and power. It wasn't until Pam came along to calm him down and remind him who he was. And with that, Goku was finally able to regain control, and once he did, it allowed him to use the power of the Golden Great Ape to become the true Super Saiyan.
Grandpa, I need to know. Are you still on our side? The good side? Yeah!
If you need more proof, look at Vegeta. He went through the same transformation, only like 10 times faster, because he already had control over his Great Ape form.
Vegeta, no, please! It's me!
So, is this your secret weapon? A giant monkey too ignorant to know who the enemy is?
Vegeta!
Well, I mean, it has been a few years. Give him a chance to get warmed up. But when he does, instant Super Saiyan. This means that Vegeta could have gone Super Saiyan 4 as early as the Android Saga. God, can you imagine if Vegeta really killed the androids and Cell?
Become stronger. The f***'s a Kami? Basically God. But I'm still here! Do you really believe your own hype that much? I am the hype!
Still not convinced? Look at when Goku powered up against Omega Shenron. For a brief moment, you saw, and Omega saw, Goku's Great Ape form. Why? Because it's an integral part to the transformation's identity. Tapping into that form, into that power, is something that Goku has to do. And just for the sake of argument, let's look at the rules of anime. In other series, like Naruto, Bleach, or even Gundam, the main characters have a form that they can only access through anger or a stressful situation. They may even be able to tap into this power for a quick boost in power. It's not until they learn Control that they're actually able to use this power to its fullest potential. It's one of those unwritten rules of anime. And the Dragon Ball series doesn't really follow that rule. All of their transformations are strictly rage based. That is, unless you count Dragon Ball GT, where Goku and Vegeta have to push past their basic instincts, past their rage, to become the one thing that was foretold in the beginning of the series, Super Saiyans. 100% pure Super Saiyans. But hey, that's just a theory. Super Saiyan theory. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.